Brainstormkid Reading Level 3 Physics Project Rollercoaster. Do you love flying through the air at top speeds, going up and down with your hands in the air, screaming, "Ah!" Then you'd love this ride, the roller coaster. Whether you love it or not, you may be surprised how much science goes into this ride. It is the science of forces, energy, and motion called physics. Then what is physics? Physics is about learning how things happen. For example, when physicists see a moving car, they would wonder, how can the car move? How does it go forward and turn around? So, they learn and figure out how things work. There are so many famous physicists like Isaac Newton and Albert Einstein, and my favorite, Richard Feynman. Guess what? Most roller coasters do not have engines. What? Something has to keep it moving at such a high speed because they move so fast pretty much until the end. Then, how do they move? The key to making a roller coaster move is energy. First, the roller coaster needs a motor to get to the top of the hill. Well, it does not have the engine, so it needs a motor to pull it up. As the train climbs up the hill, it is storing the energy as it is going up, so it can use it later. This energy is called potential energy or stored energy. There are many forms of potential energy such as chemical, elastic, and gravitational. Here, we're talking about gravitational potential energy. Does it sound familiar? Yes, gravity. We talked a lot about it during Mars project. We're talking about things that fall to the ground because the pull force called gravity. As the hill gets higher, it gains more potential energy. Also, if you have more weight or if it is heavier, you will gain more potential energy too. We'll do more experiments about this in the class. Once the train is at the top of the hill, it has a lot of stored potential energy ready to use. This is where the fun begins. Then, gravity pulls it down the track. This turns potential energy into kinetic energy or energy of motion. As the train hits the bottom of the drop, it hits its fastest speed. This is where it has the most kinetic energy and the least potential energy. The more speed the train has, the more kinetic energy it will get. As the train climbs up the second hill, it begins to slow down because gravity is pulling the train down again. Now, kinetic energy turns back into potential energy as it goes up the hill. When the train comes down the second drop, potential energy is now turned back into kinetic energy, just like the first hill. This process repeats through the rest of the ride. Eventually, the train slows down because the energy turns to the force called friction. Friction pulls on things that are moving and slows them down. Have you ever tried to slide down the floor? If the floor is made of a very rough carpet, it will be pretty difficult to slide. Why? Because it has a lot of friction. Well, this is how the train eventually comes to a stop. Now, the next time you ride on or see a roller coaster, you'll know a little more about how physics is turned into something fun and exciting.